Hey folks, I hope everyone is well. Today, I wanted to talk about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome, if you're not aware, is this feeling that when you're in a meeting, you don't belong, or when you get a job and you're doing that job, you don't belong. No matter how many times people say, hey, well done, there's some part in the back of your head which says, you're going to get found out, you're going to be discovered. And people it's this irrational fear because the reality is you're probably doing the job really, really well. In fact, behind closed doors, people are probably saying how good a job you are doing. This is somewhat self evident by the work that you're doing, but it can also be reflected in the performance reviews that you get from your friend, from your team, and your manager. I want to talk about this because it's something that I've dealt with and still deal with on a day to day basis. I'm 47 years old, and I lead teams. I've built studios. Like I still have this on a regular basis where I feel like I'm going to get found out. Like I just managed to luck into this situation, and that I'm faking it every day. And you can hear my voice kind of shaking because this is actually a little hard to talk about. But so I suffer from this, and that's okay. And if you suffer from this, it's okay as well. I want to talk a little bit about my experience with it, how I've managed to handle it, how I sort of deal with it on a regular basis, and just share my thoughts with regards to it. So, I think a lot of it is because of how I grew up or how I kind of got into the industry in the first place. Um, I didn't have that much of a supportive parent structure. My mom is amazing. My dad was not. So I think that led to a lot of challenges with my sort of self empowerment and self identity. I got into the industry simply by teaching myself how to make games. I downloaded the Half-Life editor when it came out and just kind of muddled my way through and taught myself how to make it using the level editor, figuring out how to program and do all the art and everything like that. My first job in the industry was on Freedom Force at Irrational Games. It was actually a split of design slash IT because I had a bit of an IT background. Um, and from that point forward, it just felt like game design was pretty much just making it up as you went and using your gut instinct. Because honestly, back then, that's what it was. It really was just make content and make it as fun as you can. And over time, you just get really good at doing it because you're building it a lot. That still doesn't overcome the fact that whenever you're building it, you still feel like you're making it up. And that mindset has just kind of like stuck around for me. And it just is. And it's okay. It's just something that I've learned to live with and learned to deal with. Even though I've made things like the Crusader, even though I've been blessed to work at places like Blizzard, I still feel that. I still look back on the Crusader and I'm like, yeah, I did a lot, but actually the rest of the team was the ones. I'll sort of push that off. So how do I handle it? Um, I try to surround myself with people who are my cheerleaders. I personally am a bit of an introvert, and so I try and find people who are extroverted and that I can lean on their energy and lean on their support so that it's not just my own mindset that is telling me, hey, you're not doing the right thing. It is just people who are telling you that are doing the right thing. And it's not because they're sycophantic. It's not because they're, trying to suck up to you or anything like this. It's important that these people are peers or above. They shouldn't be my direct report, but they are people who, when I talk to them, they reinforce how impressed they are by me. Um, People like I'm going to name someone's name, but I don't care because this is actually really positive. Someone like a Jason Bender, who I worked with at Blizzard on Diablo and at Netflix. He is such a wonderful human being. He's super positive. He can be very critical, but he's very honest about it. And he always comes across in like a sincere way. He's always coming from a place of positive intent. That is a person who I would love to be able to spend more time with because they actually help my imposter syndrome. They help me feel like, hey, I am doing a great job. I am doing something that is helpful, because they'll comment about it just with no prompting. They'll just be like positive about it. The other ways that I've managed, that's actually like, it's a very in some ways that started as a non-intentional thing, but it's something that I've learned about myself that I need, that I benefit from. In situations when I don't have that, I know that the imposter syndrome kicks up a lot more. The other thing that I've found that helps is a certain amount of just regular self-care. By self-care, I mean, for me, it's meditation, and some amount of exercise. I'm not a big gym person, but if I can get a good walk in every day, or if I can spend some time on a rower, that helps. For meditation, I'm a person that has a lot of active thoughts. And the imposter syndrome comes along with those active thoughts, those kind of negative thoughts. So meditation kind of helps me to get rid of that, or not get rid of it, but identify it when it happens and be able to say to myself, hey, that's just a thought. Is that real? Is it not? And let it go. Those are the two main things that I've found with regards to imposter syndrome that I feel help me the most. I want to say I'm not scientific about this. I'm not a trained therapist or anything like that. But this is just me speaking from personal experience and having had to deal with this in somewhat of a pretty competitive industry over the last, 26 years or so. So I want to end this with a personal message to you. If you are someone who suffers from this, believe that you are good enough. Believe that you are unique. There's over 9 billion people on this planet, and there's only one of you. You are incredibly special. And no matter what you do, no matter what you contribute, no matter what you build, you are the one that did that. Therefore, it's worth it. Therefore, it is a good thing. You may look at it and think poorly of it. You may be critical of it. And that's okay, because you are also the person best informed to look at it and say to yourself, well, I want to do this again. I want to try this again. I want to re-implement that unit that I wasn't happy with, or that visual effect, or I want to redraw that piece of concept art. These things that you might internalize as being mistakes are simply opportunities to keep getting better. And because you are unique and you are special, you are the only one that can do that. That means that in a room of 1,000 people, you are the only person that can think like you do, that can contribute like you do. There's no need to feel like you're an imposter there, because you absolutely belong. What you're doing is contributing to a creative space, to a creative endeavor, which is making games is one of the hardest things anyone could ever do in their entire life. So what you've managed to accomplish simply by moving the needle one step forward, 1 inch at a time, if it is adding an animation to a character, or adding a new ability, or laying out a new level, or writing a new piece of the script, or anything that contributes to moving that piece of art forward is valuable, and so are you. I hope this has been valuable. I hope this has been helpful. I wanted to talk about this because it means a lot to me. So take care of yourself. Try and find an opportunity to do some self-care today. And when you notice a thought like imposter syndrome come across, think about it, acknowledge it, and let it go. Thanks. I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.